Israel just pulled all of their troops out of Gaza. The question is the war over? Well, we're going to answer that question today, along with a ceasefire update and some good news at the end of the show. So stay tuned. I'm Justin, and this is the Israel Guys. Welcome to the Israel Guys, where we believe that in a world of Jew hatred and anti-Israel propaganda, you should have a direct connection to the land and people of Israel. Great to be back with you guys again today here on today's show. First off, make sure to subscribe here on YouTube if you're watching there, or whether it's on Rumble or podcast platform, give us a follow. Also, like this video, hit the notification bell so you never miss any of the content of the Israel Guys that we're putting out every single week. Also, go follow us on our social media pages. Guys, we say it on every show, but would you please consider making the effort to come to Nashville? Mark your calendars for May 20th through the 22nd at the Sonesta Hotel in Nashville. This is the first ever Israel Guys Summit. We have an amazing lineup of speakers. We have a full-on concert. We're going to be showing movies, different videos. The time has come for Christians all around America to come together with one voice in unity to say that the whole land of Israel belongs to the Jewish people, including the biblical heartland, what the world calls the West Bank. Guys, you can go to theisraelguys.com/summit or click the link in the description below to sign up for the Israel Summit, May 20th through the 22nd in Nashville, Tennessee. So, on Sunday, the IDF pulled out all of their troops from Gaza except for one brigade, leaving only a few thousand soldiers, total in the Gaza Strip. So the question is, does this mean that the war is over? Well, to put it shortly, the short answer is absolutely not. And we're going to get into that here on the show. IDF Chief of Staff Herzi Halevi said on Sunday that the war is far from over and that they're doing everything they can to bring the hostages home. He said, quote, "The war in Gaza continues and we are far from stopping. Senior Hamas officials are still in hiding. We will get to them sooner or later. We are making progress, continuing to kill more terrorists and commanders and destroy more terror infrastructures, including last night. We will not leave Hamas brigades active in any part of the Strip. We have plans and we will act when we decide. At the same time as the offensive part, we allow the entry of humanitarian aid into the Strip. Hamas's interest is to present a humanitarian crisis in Gaza to press for an end to the war." I feel like Hamas has been doing that very well, getting the sympathies of the world in general, the Biden administration, the UN. They've been presenting a humanitarian crisis, and they've been getting the sympathy of the world and getting the world to call for a ceasefire and ultimately call for the end of the world before Hamas is destroyed. Herzi Halevi went on to say, quote, "Hamas is trying to take control of the humanitarian aid and prevent its distribution. In order to resume control of the Gaza Strip, this should not happen. Therefore, we continue to dismantle Hamas's military and governmental capabilities to bring stability to the region." Of course, since the beginning of the war, Hamas has been doing everything they can to prevent humanitarian aid from getting to their people, because, that would ruin the picture that they're trying to paint for the rest of the world, to get the sympathies of the world to ultimately call for a ceasefire and call for the end of the world, saving their necks. 18 of Hamas's 24 original battalions in the Gaza Strip have so far been dismantled, if not completely destroyed. The IDF is speculating that 4 Hamas battalions remain in Rafah, in southern Gaza, which is the southernmost city in Gaza, which for some reason the Biden administration really does not want Israel to go into. They pressured them over and over and over again, even calling for conditions, and Biden even hinting that they might cut back on their aid to Israel if Israel goes into Gaza. He said goes into Rafah, and he said that Israel would be crossing a red line at one point if they went into Rafah. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu announced on Monday night that Israel had set a date for the military offensive against the remaining Hamas terror battalions in Rafah, which, if true, is very good news, and hopefully they will not cave to the international pressure, and they will actually do what they need to do to go in and take out these 4 Hamas battalions. This is the biggest, the last remaining big terrorist stronghold in the Gaza Strip. Netanyahu said, quote, "We are constantly working to achieve our goals. First and foremost, the release of all our hostages and achieving a complete victory over Hamas." He's talked about this before, this idea of total victory over Hamas. And now there's even t-shirts and hats sold that say total victory, and that's what needs to happen. There needs to be total victory over Hamas. He went on to say, this victory requires entry into Rafah. Did you hear that, Biden administration? You're listening? This victory requires entry into Rafah and the elimination of the terrorist battalions there. It will happen. There is a date. So, to answer the question, is this the end of the war? Well, if it's up to Israel, which it is ultimately, then absolutely not. Unfortunately, if the Biden administration had their way, then the IDF would stay out of Gaza, not go into Rafah, and Hamas would remain alive and have plenty of time to regroup, rearm, and attack Israel once again, possibly even creating another October 7th. We're going to talk about the latest ceasefire deal, but first, in times of uncertainty as the shadow of conflict looms over the land of Israel, our hearts go out to those standing bravely on the front lines of freedom and to those who are suffering because of the evil of Hamas. How can we, living thousands of miles away, lend our strength and support to Israel? Well, the answer lies not in the might of arms, but in the power of prayer. The Israel Bible Book of Psalms Pray Like David edition offers more than words, it offers a connection. This special edition serves as a spiritual bridge, linking us to the ancient but ever-relevant prayers of King David. Each page, each verse, and each word, now accessible like never before, calls out for peace, guidance, and strength. This isn't just any book, it's a call to arms for the faithful, an invitation to join a global prayer movement. Your voice, united with millions around the globe, can move mountains and bring peace to the people of Israel. Let's stand together in prayer and call out to God with David's words. Your prayer, your voice is needed now more than ever. Click the link in the description below to purchase your copy of the Israel Bible Book of Psalms and learn how you can pray for Israel like never before. Well, surprise, surprise, but Hamas rejected a ceasefire. So, Bill Burns, the director of the CIA, went to Cairo last weekend to discuss a ceasefire which reportedly included the release of additional Palestinian prisoners, aka terrorists, because they're always the women and children that they talk about that are prisoners in Israeli jails are most of the time terrorists. The children, teenagers who have committed terror attacks, whether it's stabbing or shooting, but they didn't kill anybody, so they would probably be released, or throwing rocks at cars. Also, the women, most of the time, have committed terror attacks. Including the release of additional Palestinian prisoners whom Israel holds in exchange for Hamas releasing 40 hostages and a 3-stage ceasefire. Even though it's not very smart, I don't get it at all. Honestly, don't understand it. But Hamas, also the Arabs in general, they usually reject ceasefires and peace deals in general. So it should come as no surprise that Hamas rejected this one as well. Flat out rejected it. Matthew Miller, the U.S. State Department spokesman, said during a press conference he was doing his press briefing and the news came in that Hamas had rejected the ceasefire. He said, quote, "We have seen them reject a number of proposals before that we have thought would deliver incredible benefits to the Palestinian people that they claim to represent. Most notably cessation of hostilities, but also conditions on the ground that would allow the delivery of much, much more humanitarian assistance." What he doesn't get is that Hamas does not want humanitarian assistance for their people. They do not care about their people one single bit. They want to keep painting this picture of poverty and starvation for the rest of the world so that the world will pressure Israel to create a ceasefire, and then the war will stop and Hamas will be saved. Congressman Richie Torres, who has been pretty supportive of Israel during this war, actually, he said, quote, "The hyperbolic and hysterical demonization of Israel from fair weather friends, ouch," I think he's talking to you, Biden administration, "makes Hamas feel emboldened to continue rejecting ceasefires and continue holding the hostages captive. Sinwar feels like he is winning." So true. Unfortunately, Richie Torres is completely right. Sinwar feels like he is winning when the world is pressuring Israel for a ceasefire. Honestly, the Biden administration needs to stop. Stop talking about a ceasefire. I've said it over and over again, and I'll continue saying it until this happens. Stop talking about a ceasefire. Start backing and supporting Israel in their full right to defend themselves and to wipe out Hamas from the face of the earth, doing the rest of the world a favor in removing evil from the earth. Guys, and some good news for the end of the show today. Israel just took out another terrorist leader, this time a Hezbollah leader in Lebanon. According to JNS, an Israeli strike in southern Lebanon on Sunday night killed a field commander in Hezbollah's elite Radwan force, the Israel Defense Forces confirmed on Monday morning. The attack was carried out near the village of As Sultania, according to the IDF, which named the commander as Ali Ahmed Hassin, Radwan commander of the Hajir region. According to the IDF, he, quote, "was a senior operative in the terrorist organization and held a rank equivalent to that of brigade commander. In his role, he was responsible for planning and carrying out terrorist attacks against Israeli civilians in northern Israel. Since the beginning of the war, Hassin carried out numerous launches toward Israeli territory." Thank God another evil was removed from the earth, that the IDF is striking this evil. Hassin was the second high-ranking Hezbollah official killed in an Israeli strike in the Hajir region in recent months. According to Hezbollah, this brings the total number of Hezbollah terrorists killed since the beginning of the war to 274. Guys, continue to pray for Israel that they will have the strength to do what they need to do to go back into Gaza if they need to, go back into Rafah, which absolutely needs to happen to destroy the rest of Hamas, to go back into Gaza, and that they won't necessarily listen to the pressures of the rest of the world, including the Biden administration. Guys, make sure and get your copy of the Israel Bible Book of Psalms Pray Like David edition. You can just click the link in the description below to purchase that today. Don't forget to subscribe. Get that conversation going down in the comment section below. As always, tune out the fake news and tune in to what is actually happening here in the land of Israel. We'll be back every day, Monday through Friday, with your direct connection to the land and people of Israel.